Hello there and welcome. In this video I want to introduce to you 10 different things that will make winning easier for you in Against the Storm. I did restart my account when the new DLCs hit town to dig in all the changes and find out what's new, and starting out new made me also learn a lot of new things regarding fundamentals of the game, and yeah, here goes. I really hope that this will help you out in finding some new success. Now, number one, packs and crates. So these things are just crazy. Every one of the workshops which has 2 stars or more is an open invitation to go into mass production if you can't stomach it. The real important thing is that your colony needs to have an overproduction of these items. Cutting away food that you need is bad. Cutting away resources that you need elsewhere is bad. But once you have productions 150 plus of something, it's really worth thinking about just packaging them away and selling them. Because if you compare, 6 units of dye are worth 0.54 amber, and these packs of trade goods are so much worth more. Add in the capabilities of doubling outputs via proficiencies, hearth upgrades, cornerstones, rain punk. You can dish out a lot of money. And the other really nice thing is most traders have a bias to accept these packages more eagerly rather than the raw resources, but it really varies from trader to trader. In short, if your city produces a lot of something, take into account in your drafts to watch out for the items that can just produce a lot of packs for you. The last word I want to say, the makeshift post is only good for fulfilling demands, not for trading's sake. It destroys value if you try to do that. It's excellent, though, to fulfill baseline orders and keep the trade routes going, which is something we're going to be talking about in a hot minute. But number 2 I want to talk about is production and worker control. So there's a few little things that are so important, but I think it's easy to miss them out, or, well, I don't know, it's my style of managing things. Here goes. So, for one, not a single of my productions runs without thresholds. There's always a limit to these. I activate and deactivate them as I see fit, and as soon as one of these guys is done, reallocate them. Workforce is one of the most important resources in the game, and each exclamation mark here means that I should take a look into whether this guy is needed elsewhere, or if we can tweak the production table a little bit to make him work again. In short, take these exclamation marks seriously and keep your production rates where you need them, because production without limits is only in a few cases really worthwhile, namely when you have such stupid overproductions that it doesn't matter anymore and you just want to get rid of the material. But that doesn't happen as often as that you need your workers everywhere, and you could always use more workers. Anyway, number 3, trade routes. So trade routes are, in my opinion, one of the most overpowered mechanics in the game that you can use. They might start out small, output-wise, amber. The amber numbers don't look that well compared to what you put in at the beginning of the trade, but as soon as these levels here go up, things change drastically. So it pays off a lot to invest and reinvest into these. The provision packs can be easily crafted, or in my opinion, most easily crafted out of herbs, because you can't eat them raw, so they don't deduct from your food table. All in all, it is a investment that's so worth it, and try to go for them as early as possible, because this dishes out so much amber over the course of a run. There's several cornerstones which will make you basically win out of trade routes much harder. So many good things. Don't sleep on them. So number 4, population is power. So in this game, you really get so much more done the more people you got. And it goes as far as to say, during the first 5 or 6 years, you basically can't have too many people. Because even if you can't house them, you can't feed them in the first place, these people can throw themselves into these jobs and just get the problem resolved by just being more people. So, in short, more villagers are always a good thing until you hit the late stages of the game, namely year 9 to 10 plus. This is where you should think about not taking every opportunity anymore, or thinking about utilizing people leaving the town. This is also a really nice strategy, just saying. But altogether, the more people you got, the more stuff you get done, and don't be afraid of expanding even if you have some deficiencies. The only good reason to not grow that I found so far is an utter lack of parts. Because without parts, you can't expand properly. Parts are the lifeblood of your gathering and resource allocation industry, and yeah, eventually you will have more workers than you can put into work if you run out of parts. And the other thing where you can put people always well into work, services and farming. It also devours a lot of people. Anyways, number 5, stacking effects. So every cornerstone that can have a theoretical infinite stacking effect is insanely powerful. Any one of these here, the one of the bats, everyone we lose of a different kind makes them gain resolve. There's so many different cornerstones that just can keep growing and growing. Baptism of Fire, you gain hostility reduction for burnt blight rot cysts. All of these, which have no limit in how strong they can go, are basically cornerstones to make a strategy working on. Not all of them are easily workable with. Calming the Forest here, for example, sometimes you're just unlucky and you don't get any empathy events, but many of them can be really milked to some point where you really can just win the game out of them. Here, friendly relations is really good for trade routes, for example, or these ones here, these stacking production chains, insane stuff. Goes as far as to consider taking them even if you don't have a production, to just snipe them in your future drafts, because these things can be really, really, really massive if they run a long time. In short, every effect that is not capped in any way and just keeps on growing the longer it goes is something you should take a good look on, analyze if it's worthwhile using in your current situation, and maximize the hell out of it if it is possible, and enjoy the run. Because basically any one of these growing effects is a hell of a fun run, and they can even be combined. Now, number 6. This one goes to how difficult you want to play your game. There is a sweet spot between invested time, challenge to your own mind, and reward. So I figured when I was playing on a very low level account, the highest difficulty level runs, I was capable of winning them, yes, but it was taking much too long because I was lacking tools, and eventually I didn't even enjoy my ride anymore. It was way smarter and more enjoyable to go for very low level runs because they were done much quicker, so I could grow faster. You can start with a level 1 account on Viceroy difficulty and it works. It's just a question of it's enjoyable or not. So, in short, what I'm trying to say is find yourself the sweet spot for yourself where you feel like it's fun to play, it's not too easy to play, it's not boring to play, but you still feel like it's thrilling, exciting, and you get some rewards to grow upon. Your mileage will vary. Everybody here is differently wired, but don't go to the false assumption that you get the best rewards by just playing the highest difficulty. It is not like this. Highest difficulty is resolvable, but takes too long, and therefore your rewards per hour will be worse, actually. That's the thing. Now, moving on to number 7. This one goes out to the question, how good and far can I expand my colony and when? So it's all a question of hostility management. If you are lucky enough to draw cornerstones find items, events that lower hostility, you can expand much more aggressively. If your run is lacking items and cornerstones and things that lower hostility, it's much wiser to play with a compactified base. This is because opening up more glades is just a heavy pressure on your hostility here. So basically, the better your hostility management is, the further you can expand your base. It's very important to not overexpand, because at some point hostility can't be lowered anymore. The other thing that you can always use for hostility management are the two mechanics that are always available and immune to RNG: hearths and racking up impatience, actually. I always end up in the early stages of the game trying to keep my impatience as high as possible, because it makes the game easier, actually. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, number 8, items to hoard. There are certain items that you can just pick up and enjoy having them. There is, where can we go for to see it? Well, yeah, encyclopedia. So, the thought here is that you can just hoard certain items that resolve events well. There's no good overview here. Sorry about that. But the basic idea is that fuel, coal, sea marrow, oil is a event resolver. Tools is universally welcome. There's coats and boots, which are used fringe case wise. Service items like scrolls, incense, and ale and wine and whatnot. Having them is valuable because you can resolve events with that, and building materials also. In short, what I'm trying to say here is that clothing can be stored for the sake of resolving events with, and service items are also pretty powerful, and fuel items are pretty powerful. Consider having a stockpile of them to resolve your dangerous glade events with when the time is right to just invite a trade. When a trader comes by and sells some wine that you actually can buy, but don't think you need it to directly. Scrolls and incense are also very, very powerful. Resin can also sometimes be very powerful, because I see it here as basic material. It is a thing of experience, but here again, service items, fuel, and clothing are the 3 categories that keep popping up repeatedly. Oh, and raw food. That's also something. Anyways, moving on over to number 9. Seal fragments. So when you finish your maps, you get reward-wise seal fragments. They don't get shown here, but sometimes you also get offered seal fragments. You only need a limited amount of seal fragments to open up the seal map, and you might think that you only need as much seal fragments as you need to breach the seal. This is where I was wrong, because these get sold back at the end of a cycle, and they yield the rarest of rewards in the expansion tree. In short, when you get the offer to get seal fragments and all the other rewards look rather uninteresting, go for the seal fragments. They will give you faster progression. I underestimated it massively when I saw it the first time, and yeah, I hope this helps. Number 10, the last thing, while we're talking about seal maps, this ain't a seal map, but play them at the lowest allowed difficulty. Cheese them out and get them the easiest way done. 2 reasons for me for that. The first and utmost important reason is you only get 1 shot at these. And if that shot fails, you have to play an entire cycle to get back there. It's pretty annoying. And the other thing is, the seal map is a completely different gameplay style compared to everything you're usually playing. It's worth taking it step by step, gradually harder, because this is really the worst of the worst that you will be facing, and I underestimated the challenge of seal maps massively when I started out, when they got newly introduced, because, you know, when I was playing the game for the first time, they didn't even exist. So, in short, seal maps don't punish you for playing them in an easy way. Quite the opposite is the case. You actually get it a lot easier done if you make it easy to you. Now, Tons of other things to say, but this was a list of things that I didn't already say too much in my other videos, so I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, and feel free to support the channel in any given way. As it stands right now, I'm really not there yet to stand on my own feet, and as a fully self-employed content creator, I can take all the help that I can get here. So feel free to donate or do whatever tickles your fancy, but keep in mind that the most cool way of support is already done. You watched this video, and that's what I'm very grateful for. So have a nice day, and see you soon.